All right, guys, so this is the beginning of the prep for Ocean City, Maryland. I'm taking the BMW 700 down this year, and at the moment I just have like an analog air suspension management in it, just electronic solenoid valves with momentary push button switches. But Aerolith Performance has come on board with this project, so I am about to install their 3P system in the car. It's too small to really warrant the height sensors. I've got the height sensors in a couple other cars. I've got just the pressure system in my Corvair, and it's working perfectly. So gonna get the harness put in and the manifold mounted and airlines hooked up. Shouldn't be too bad since the car's already bagged. All I have to do is run my harness, get the manifold mounted, and get everything hooked up. What I think I'm gonna do is I'm also going to get my center console rebuilt. Right now I laser cut an acrylic center console in that car for the push button switches. So now that it's gonna have the 3P system, I'm going to probably laser cut a section for the 3P controller to basically French mount down into the center console. So we'll see if I have enough time for that. First on the list is getting it wired and getting the manifold in. So it's Sunday morning. I didn't get much finished on the 700 yesterday. I started taking all of the air suspension management apart, and then my father, who's working on our friend Nick's scratch build twin supercharged Cobra, said he was done with the lift for the weekend basically. So I decided to not continue moving forward on the 700 last night when I really kind of needed the lift. I need to run another airline to the back. So I've decided to use the lift today since he's not using it. So basically this setup at the moment is just a front and rear control. I've got 4 valves, 2 for the front, 2 for the rear. So just up and down, or fill and dump, whatever you want to call it. So the 2 up front and the 2 in the rear are on the same system together. So I only have one line going to the back, teed off to both bags. So now that I'm going to be running the 3P system with, corner control, I need to run 2 lines to the back. So rather than get it up on jack stands and crawl into there and run a new airline to the back, just going to use the lift today. So this morning I've put everything back together in the old setup so I can start it, air it up, and get it into the next bay. The time is of the essence. Got lots to do today. Have to get the truck in here as well. Going to do an oil change on that, do a quick once over, check all the fluids. I really want to get my bed bolts loosened up and out so I can get some never sees on them and put those back in. I've never had a fuel pump issue in that truck, but in that truck, you have to basically either remove or pull the bed back a bit to get to the pump that's in the fuel tank. So my fear is I'm going to lose the fuel pump on the road and those bed bolts are going to be stripped or seized or something, and I won't be able to get the bed back and access to the fuel pump while beside the road. I hope that never happens, but Ocean City, Maryland is 12 to 13 hour haul each way, and then this November I'm driving to Florida with that truck to get a new trailer and go to Simply Clean. So going to take care of that today. Corey's on his way up here as well as we speak. He wants to get his air suspension install finished in his Avant too before we leave Tuesday night. So yeah, lots to do today. I'm going to try to film as much as possible, but also be time efficient as well. So here we go. So this was literally just thrown together in time for Alpine Vag Fair. My dad and I were rushing like crazy to get this car done with minimal time. I've recently bought a new 444 compressor, but I had these old electronic ASCO valves that I just hooked in, just plumbed them together. So this is all super messy. This was definitely not the finished product, but it got the car airing up and down and running and driving, so I just ran it. So I'm really excited to get rid of all this nonsense in here, get the 3P manifold mounted. I still need to finish making strut tower covers in here. Underneath all of this sheet metal is frame horns that we made from the body forward. We basically built a tubular chassis inside the body to give it rigidity before we set it down on the beetle pan that we shortened by over a foot. So along the side up here, there's a frame horn that comes up to the front. We've got one that comes across the front and meets with the other one that comes up from the firewall. As you can see, I've recessed where the valves in the tank are. I've recessed that down because this tank was the only one I had laying around, and this one's pretty tall, and I didn't want to cut any holes on the hood. I'd rather run a smaller tank, which I may still do, but when we were framing this in, that's why I recessed this all down when we were framing the front end, so there was enough clearance for the hood on the tank. This is an older Beetle fuel tank as well. If you know Beetles, you know that this has been turned around. The fill neck is usually over here in the front, but because of clearance on the hood, we turned it around the other way, so we'd have clearance with the fill neck. I haven't gotten a fuel gauge hooked up yet. This one was set up for a mechanical fuel gauge. I'd like to convert it to an electric one and get that in the car. I don't drive it enough or a long distance enough to really have to worry about running low on fuel. I just get a line of sight on the thing and put fuel in it if it needs it. So most of the management is out, and I'm kind of in the process of trying to figure out where everything else is going to go. This is the pressure gauge for the analog setup, and I laser cut a faceplate for it in the car, if I can get a good shot of it. So this is my alternator light. So when I turn my key on, obviously my alternator light comes on, and I basically used the radio port in the dash to use for this faceplate. So I didn't cut anything in the dashboard. I wanted to leave the dashboard completely stock without drilling any holes. So what I'm thinking is I'd really like to put an analog clock in that hole, so I don't need to change that faceplate at all. I can keep my alternator light where it is. I can keep that faceplate, and I'm hoping in the next couple of days before Ocean City I can get a 2-inch diameter little analog clock. That'd be cool. And I've already got illumination to my light switch. So when I turn my lights on, that has illumination to it as well. So that's on the list too. That's last. I got to wire in the 3H system, run a few more airlines, and start getting everything hooked back up. All right, Corey's here now. He's helping me get some of the wiring done. We're working on just like the key powered stuff that I have from my center console that I made for USB charging ports, a compressor kill switch, a map light, a few other things. So I'm in the car at the moment, and I've got my center console out that I made. This is upside down at the moment. It's acrylic, and I've got all my momentary switches all soldered in. I've got my charge port, compressor kill switch, map light. Yeah, so what I'm doing now is I'm getting everything sorted out, the stuff I don't need now that the 3P system is going to go in with the controller. And also what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out completely, and I'm going to build a fixture for it in my laser machine. I'm going to take all this out. This is acrylic welded to the plate here, and this is leather. But what I'm going to do is from the leather forward, I'm going to laser cut a hole out the same size as my airlift controller, and then I'm going to make a new top plate with this 2-color acrylic with the labels. So basically these 4 switches will be gone. The airlift controller will sit here, and I'll have a labeling down here for the controller. So this is kind of like overkill for the time we have, but I know for a fact that if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. So we might as well just do it since the center console's out. I'm the worst at this. This is why I don't do this for a job. Corey does. He's got way more patience than I do. So if I get it done and it works, it'll just stay a complete haphazard mess for the rest of my life and its life. So this is what we're working on now. We're going to try to bang this out. Then we're pulling my truck in. Going to do an oil change on that, get a few things sorted out. And then he's probably staying, and we're going to dive into his Avant and get the air suspension done in his wagon.
Simple, real quick, just done.
Yeah, real quick. No hurdles. Nothing's going to go wrong. No hurdles. We're going to bang it out 20 minutes. All right, so what I'm doing now is I've got the center console that I made for the BMW 700 out and in my laser shop. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to French in the 3P controller here. So this is where the momentary switches used to be. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to laser cut a hole in this that this can sit down in, and up underneath I'm going to laser cut another piece of acrylic that's a little bit wider than the hole I'm cutting in the top with the mount holes, excuse me, with the mount holes for the back of the controller. That way I can set this down through the hole, and French it in so it can lay flush, and the plate underneath will be bolted to it, and then it'll be acrylic welded. So it'll be a fixed mounting plate basically for the controller. And yeah, so I'm in the middle of designing that in the CAD program right now. So what I've done here is I've used a piece of cardboard fixed in my table and laser cut a fixture of the dimensions of the center console so I could set this in the cutout. So now my laser machine knows exactly where this center console is, because I'm about to cut out a hole so I can French in the 3P controller. I'm winging this. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, that's about 13/16 there, and we're about 13/16 there. Yeah, okay, so the jig worked. We're pretty straight. A couple more cuts and it might come through. So the glue's a little messy, hasn't set up yet. I ran out of acrylic welding solvent, so I had to use this plastic glue weld. And so basically this allows the harness to drop through. This is gusseted like on the corners underneath this plate, and so controller will fit in like that. And I laser engraved the Airlift Performance logo in this 2-color acrylic. Compressor power switch, USB charging ports. Got the little leather BMW dash pad here. It's much later than I was expecting it to be. We were supposed to be done this a long time ago. But this is getting finished. I'm excited about it. That's exactly how I wanted it to. Laser engraved the Airlift logo in it. Yeah, it's gonna be a long night. It already is. It's 12:30 in the morning. I thought we were going to have this done, the oil changed on the truck, fluids checked, and a bunch of other stuff done by 8 or 10 p.m. And we're still working on the 700. But I did spend a ton of time on that center console trying to get that right, because I knew if I didn't do it now and get the car like running and plumbed in for Ocean City, Maryland, I was never going to take it apart again. With the Sentry on deck, I want to lower and bag my truck before Simply Clean. And I still have a 52 Chevy cab over that lies in wait for a long time. So figured might as well do it now, and now we're putting in a late night. I would still like to get the oil changed in the truck tonight, but we'll see how we feel when we finish this. Basically what's done now is center console's done, all the wiring's done, 80% of the plumbing is done. We just have to run one more airline to the rear. Double check everything, hook my compressor up, hook the leader line from the compressor to the water trap up, hook the battery up, and calibrate it. We shall see how it goes. And turn that plate around. So we've got the second rear airline run. Just need to hook it up to the manifold. And does it seem like that rubber piece is staying on there?
Yeah,
I don't
I'll
think
put one more zip tie so this doesn't like fall off to the side.
Yeah, that'd be good. It might help hold that rubber piece in too. Yeah. Yeah, then we're going to just finish hooking up to the manifold. I need to hook the power line from the compressor up to my relay because I'm keeping a kill switch in there. The 3P system runs off of key power, but I like having a kill switch in there anyway, just in case the car's on and it's calling for air. And it's some of these old cars that idle, your alternator isn't charging your battery. And if I'm leaving the car idling to like warm up and the system's calling for air, the compressor will use battery power instead of alternator charging battery power. So I like having a kill switch so I can kill that thing off when I want to if the car's just idling. So and then I think we're done on this for the night. Yeah, we got a notch. I got some more hammering to do up in the front inner fender wells. I've recently cut a lot of the back out so I could drive this thing basically on the rockers. Fronts are rubbing a little bit, so need to hammer these out a little bit more. And then I think we're done.
At least right where the car is on the lift right now, he can see where it's rubbing, so we can just hammer it in.
Yep, that was my plan. Gonna do some massaging and some hammering so we can get the ultimate cruising lows for Ocean City. Want to skate the thing down the strip this year. So the 3P system is in, it's calibrating now. We had to troubleshoot a bunch of issues, basically wiring issues that I had. So it's calibrating right now and we should be good with the car for Ocean City. All right, Corey really helped out and got the oil change done in the truck, checked the fluids, just kind of once over on the truck. 700 is basically ready, still tidying up a few things there. Yeah, we're getting close to getting, I don't know what's done. Oh, we're gonna try to finish packing Corey's Avant.
If we have time.
What was that?
If we have time.
We're gonna make time. Depends on whenever you want to go home. I live here, so we can crank. I'm still trying to work on more of the YouTube videos. When you're watching this, I've gotten everything else done, but who knows when this is actually going live. This might be next year sometime, 2020. Yeah, so we're getting close. We're about an hour away from coffee time, but we might do an early one today. How's it going so far?
Not too bad.
Corey's got his Avant in the shop now, finishing up the air suspension install. And that should probably finish it for Ocean City prep, I think.
Yes.
I think that's basically it. My truck's pretty much sorted. The 700 is almost sorted. I still have a few things to do there. I want to get a horn installed in it. And yeah, I think that's it. It's about 10:30 p.m. The 700 is done for the most part. I just spent the last way too long wiring some horns into it because it didn't have a horn. So I went and bought a couple horns and wired it in. Took way longer than I wanted it to. About a month ago, we started the whole process by just wiring the car and getting the management mounted in the trunk. We just spent like a night kind of working on that. So now it's obviously last second hammering. He's been working on this while I've been finishing up the 700. So now that that's done, I really should be working on YouTube stuff, but I'm going to help him run some airline here and try to get this system booted up, calibrated, and DUNN done. I'm not going to put that in the episode.
Finite.
What?
Finite.
Finite? Finny. Okay. I don't know why this is still recording, but
Lack of sleep.
yeah, this this is Monday, the day before we leave for Ocean City. We basically leave tomorrow night. Technically Wednesday at like 1 in the morning, but that's Tuesday night. And we got home from the TGC America Tour Saturday morning. And so we basically did 7,000 miles and then got right to putting 3P management in the 700, finishing bagging his Avant, working on my truck. I don't even remember what else we did this weekend. He's been here like every day since we got home. And he lives an hour south of here. So we're still running on, I don't know. We were in the shop down here until 3 o'clock this morning. Got like 3 or 4 hours worth of sleep and then hammered back in it at the shop. We got a good night's sleep. At least I did. Saturday night, I slept about 10 hours and my body needed it after like the 1 to 2 hours worth of sleep I was getting every night while we were on the road. Last night was only a few hours. Tonight, may also only be a few hours. But tomorrow I'm basically spending getting the car loaded up, getting packed, getting all the merchandise together for the TGC meets. And yeah, being ready to roll and getting to bed early tomorrow night. He wasn't sure if he was going to have enough rate of camber to get the rears tucked up underneath the rear fender wells with his spacers on, but they're tucked up in there nice and tight. Fronts are looking good. You happy with how it sits?
Yeah.
No?
I may drop the front down. I may
Cut those strut towers out?
those strut towers out. Yeah. I mean, it does sit perfectly.
Yeah. So it's Tuesday morning. Basically, we're leaving tonight. But Corey buttoned up the air suspension last night, kind of taking a look at what's next. Might try to notch those strut towers, get the car down a little bit. But we are going to go get coffee and some food, and then kind of assess what needs to be done first for getting things sorted and packed for the trip. What are you doing?
I'm cutting holes in a perfectly good car.
I think we all know why, though.
More low.
That's right. So as we mentioned before, the upper control arm ball joints on the P5 chassis hit the strut towers. So Corey was going to sleep on it, see if he really wanted to cut them out. And this morning he woke up and cut them out. Going lower. We're all loaded up. Corey's probably going to make his way down to his house here pretty soon to finish packing. 700's on the trailer. Was going to do it a little later, but it started to rain, so wanted to get that done before it started to pour. But lots more to do, to pack, get a few other things sorted out, and then we are hitting the road late tonight to try to get down to Ocean City for like mid-afternoon tomorrow. So we shall see how the rest of the prep day goes. This might do it for the prep vlog. I might do a few more things and try to capture that. But if not, we will see you guys in the next episode while we are in Ocean City, or possibly tomorrow morning on our drive down to Ocean City. So we will see you guys in the next episode.